you said, yes, this is the man who I want to lead my home. He doesn't even have a bank account and he just wants to smoke all day. He does his time at work. He comes home and rubs his ashy feet together on the couch. Yes, leadership, father, husband of the year. And it's like, this guy, why don't you want to be better? When we truly allow the Lord to lead us to our partner, instead of us trying to copy paste someone there or to fit this puzzle piece in that looks like it's the same shape and maybe even fits, but it's from a different puzzle. Before we try to do all these things to negotiate ourselves into a marriage that is not actually ordained from the Lord, it's not the person that He has for you, they don't have the grace for the things that come with you. Because believe it or not, just like you have to have patience and understanding for your partner, that person has to have patience and understanding for you. You're not perfect. You are not the easiest person to love sometimes either. You have some flaws. You have some things to work on. I'm talking to myself.
Level up loading. Level up loading. Level up loading.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Level Uploading, 5 Feelings, Face Facts with yours truly, Shay.
Hey!
So, I am popping in, y'all. I'm popping in with a topic that is near and dear to my heart, but also saddening in a way. It's saddening because there is an attack on marriages. And you can really see it. If you are even remotely a follower of my podcast, I have been talking about TikTok and TikToxic and the harm that it has seemed to do. It went from being this cool little app where people could do stupid dances, distracting, but it was for the most part unproblematic. And then it got increasingly more trauma dump, more propaganda, more negative Nancy. I don't know. It just got progressively more dangerous. And like, I don't have a TikTok, but I do use YouTube. And a lot of times, a lot of people on YouTube will do commentary on things that they've seen on TikTok. So they'll either do compilations or they'll actually literally play the TikTok and just pick it apart. And I have had to really check myself about what I'm consuming, especially as it pertains to marriage. There are so many people out here and there's so many channels out here that are popping up. And I know that you guys have heard about the 4B movements and the 5Bs and the CBs and the TTs. Don't know, don't care. Not my struggle. I personally, I do have compassion and understanding for what the women have said and are saying. I do get it. I do see it. I even understand it to a certain extent of being frustrated. But what I will not do is allow human free will decision making, poor decision making, to generalize the whole organization of marriage. I just refuse to do it. For one, I have within the last, maybe within the last six or seven, maybe even 8. I'll give it 8. Let's just say 8 to be on the safe side years. I just recently even wanted to be married. I just recently even allowed the idea of marriage being a real thing for me to even come into play. There was a long time where I had a very anti-marriage spirit on me, where I didn't see any good, healthy, fulfilling relationships around me. I didn't see any marriages that were not toxic or that didn't have any level of sneaky secrecy or hidden lives popping up and things like that. I didn't see a lot of that growing up. And so I was like, all this looks like it's a relationship that you're just it's harder to get out of. And if you know anything about me, when my time is up, I like to make my exit like Cinderella, okay? I'm Cinderella on I'm Cinderella, okay? I will disappear on you. Now, I'm not saying that's the healthy way to handle it or that it's the right way to handle it. I'm talking about how I was in the past. And the thought of not being able to get away from people who I wanted to get away from as quickly as possible was something that I just was not. Why I look so short today? Let's see. Okay, that's better. It was just not something that I was willing to do, but as I got older and as I got more in tune with what marriage actually is, not only just the love, romance part of it, the business part of it, the purpose part of it, the umbrella of what God really designed marriage to be, that is when I said, oh, this makes sense. I want a part of that. And I feel that when we truly allow the Lord to lead us to our partner, instead of us trying to copy paste someone there or to fit this puzzle piece in that looks like it's the same shape and maybe even fits, but it's from a different puzzle. Before we try to do all these things to negotiate ourselves into a marriage that is not actually ordained from the Lord, it's not the person that He has for you, they don't have the grace for the things that come with you. Because believe it or not, just like you have to have patience and understanding for your partner, that person has to have patience and understanding for you. You're not perfect. You are not the easiest person to love sometimes either. You have some flaws. You have some things to work on. I'm talking to myself, okay? So just as I pray for my future spouse, I pray to have the grace for them. You ever seen an old married couple and you're like even my grandparents, they were married for how many, 60 years, I think. 60 plus years before they both passed different times. And even then it was how you deal with him? Grandma, how you deal with him? He's just over here chilling, he ain't doing nothing. But she's had the grace for him. It didn't bother her. She's used to him. He was used to her. They just had a grace for each other because that was their person. When you go and you see these married couples and they sleep in separate rooms and they live like roommates and they don't talk to each other and they don't have intimacy and they don't even like each other, honestly, it's you see that and you're like, I don't want to be part of that, because if I start living like that, I might as well be single, and it'll be a way easier for me to get out of this if we don't have paperwork to file. But looking at how the society has just everyone's talking, and listen, please don't misunderstand me, because the issues that they're talking about they need to be talked about, but they need to be talked about with therapists. They need to be talked about with sound counsel. They need to be talked about within the homes. They need to be talked about before you get married. And a lot of times I'm seeing people just trauma dump on their timeline using TikTok like a diary, and it paints a terrible picture not only of their marriage but of marriage in general. For instance, I saw a video today of a lady who said that she's married but she's basically single, and she's raising her kids and she's raising her husband. And then she lists off the things that he's never done. He doesn't even know how to make an appointment, and he doesn't even know how to, he doesn't want to mow the lawn. All he wants to do is get high. He won't want to do anything but go to work, come home, get high, go to sleep. And I'm like, and she's like, he's never even opened up a bank account. He never even did this, and he never even did this. And I'm like, that sucks. I hate to see that she's living that life, and he really should grow up. But at the same time, I'm like, so you saw this man who, he didn't just get that way. He didn't just not know how to use a bank account. He didn't just not know how to, do any domestic chore. If he truly doesn't know how to, or if he's just saying that. But if he truly doesn't know how to, and you didn't teach him, and his mom didn't teach him, and his dad didn't teach him, and his family didn't teach him, then what about him before this said, you know what, I want to marry him, and not only do I want to marry him, but I want to bring some lives, some humans into the world for him to care for. He would be a great dad. He has so much to teach my children. It's like, what? And that's not to say that people don't meet their spouse and have to teach them things. Unfortunately, we all live different lives. We don't know what people are missing. And a wife is a helpmeet. That is a job that a wife does have, to help, but not necessarily to raise. It's not necessarily to like train up a child in the way he should go. And he's a husband. Like, how can you have a man as your head of your home and he doesn't know how to do anything? And you said, yes, this is the man who I want to lead my home. He doesn't even have a bank account and he just wants to smoke all day. He does his time at work. He comes home and rubs his ashy feet together on the couch. Yes, leadership, father, husband of the year. And it's like, this guy, why don't you want to be better? You know, it's like, it works on both sides. Like, why don't you want to be better? I understand that you're not required to. You feel like you already got your wife, you already got your kids. You're living the good life, because if you don't take care of it, she's going to do it. That's just how it goes. Lord, I hope everybody's okay. I don't know what all the ambulance been on for the last 10, 15 minutes. But anyway, it's like, why don't you want to be better? It's so disheartening. And the thing about it is, these people get online and they dump for 2 seconds, and then next thing you know, they're on family vacation posting pictures. So now you've pushed this negative outlook onto me. And if I didn't have discernment, and if I didn't have my own sound footing, there's a lot of easily influenced people. Impressionable, easily influenced people on the internet. If I didn't have my own footing in my own mind, you gave me this terrible view. Oh, you're right. Maybe I should stay single. It's better that way. But you showed only the negative. You didn't show the good parts. You didn't show the reason why you say yes to this man. It had to be something, at the very least, some redeemable quality that he had at some point. Now, whether he took those qualities away or not, they were there. And now I have this view of marriage is nothing but mothering your husband and your kids and doing everything and micromanaging a grown-up and children simultaneously. And now that's my view. That's my view of motherhood. That's my view of a marriage. And if I consume enough of that back to back, that's what I'll think. And it's very disheartening, because as a person who does aspire to be help me, I understand that I have amazing qualities and ambitions and a way of gentle persuasion that is going to match with my partner. And I understand that it's going to be things that he needs to know that I know, and I know there's going to be things that I need to know that he knows, and things that he's going to have a better grasp on than me. He might be very business minded. He might be very action based, and he could see my podcast and say, you know what, you need to do this. We're going to get this podcast up and out to more people. Oh my God, hey, thank you. You helped me. Thank you. I didn't even think of that. Great. And then on the flip side, he might need help with communicating or expressing his feelings or expressing his emotions in a productive and conducive way to having a partnership that you love. I could help with that. I could have the patience with that. That's not something that I feel would be hard with a willing partner. And where I'm strong, he could be weak, and where I'm weak, he can be strong. And as long as we are under the covering of God, if we're under the covering of God and we're actually meant to be together, we're actually within God's will and not just trying to force it, I feel like there's just so much more that grace and favor that comes with that. And so I just find it hard to see everybody making their own decisions, not consulting the Lord, not even trying to make wise decisions, not even making smart, logical ones. Forget any aspect of spiritual ones. Just plain logic is not there. I'm gonna go marry a man who doesn't know how to do anything, and then get mad when he doesn't know how to do anything. I'm gonna marry a woman who doesn't know how to do anything that I need her to do, doesn't believe in my dreams, but then when we get married, I'm gonna say she's a nag and doesn't believe in me. It's like everybody is just is everyone okay? Is everything okay? Because the lights are on, but no one's home, okay? The lights are on, but no one is home. The elevator does not go up to the top floor. I'm just saying. But anyway, I don't know, guys, but I want to encourage all my single people who are still waiting patiently for the Lord to introduce them to their spouse, please be careful with what you're consuming. Be careful what you let take root in your heart. Be careful of the seeds that you are allowing to be planted in these eye and ear gates. We have to be careful of that, because you might not think it's affecting you, but just like when I was in the world and I was listening to secular music and I was listening to Megan Thee Stallion and Glorilla and just forget these dudes that make them give you your money and all this other crazy stuff. No, I wasn't doing those things, but it can change your view of how you look at the opposite sex. And so it's the same way. And just because it's not music doesn't mean that you don't need protection from it. Just because it's not a sex scene doesn't mean that it's still not a foul thing to be taken in. You take what you need and leave the rest. Chew the meat, spit out the bones, but don't let it take root in your heart. And I also just want to encourage you guys and myself to wait on the Lord for your spouse, okay? Like, I know it gets frustrating, it gets lonely. You've even probably have encountered a counterfeit or two, or you may have even encountered your actual spouse, but it just isn't the time. They're not ready yet, you're not ready yet, whatever. But just wait on him, wait on his timing, wait on the person that he has for you, because it'll be so much better. Such a better experience. That's not to say it's going to be perfect. That's not to say that there won't be turmoil. That's not to say that there won't be issues and things that you guys have to iron out. But when you wait on the Lord, there's provision. And I'm not just talking finances. I'm not just talking financial. I'm not talking about monetary. There's provision. If this is a person who God has for you, he's going to provide you with supernatural patience, supernatural grace, for that person. And you'll be able to shake your head and say, this girl, or this boy is so crazy, but it's my bae, versus actually being irritated. So I hope that gives you something to think about. It's something that's on my heart. I pray that marriage makes a comeback, and I've seen a lot of marriages and engagements. I pray that they are rooted in love, and God is the head of that union, of all of those unions. And I look forward to leading by example for my family, for my, sibling, and for the generations below me who are looking for good examples of healthy, fulfilling, happy relationships and marriages. I'm going to leave it there. You guys have a good one. I will catch you guys on the next episode. Please, please, please remember that I just sow the seed and the Holy Spirit grows the seed, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.